This is the second video in a series of 3 on how I transformed our boring, boxy, white, stick out like a sore thumb, melamine TV bookcase. So you might think that you can't paint over melamine because it's got like a plasticky coating on it that paint won't stick to, but I'm going to show you the exact process that I used. So let's remind ourselves how the bookcase used to look, and not for too long. And if you want to know the materials I used, then do skip back to video 1. This video here is concerned with the process. If you just want to see how I starred the shelves where unwittingly wearing a matching dress, then jump ahead to video number 3. Now, I'm going to say that some of the footage was shot on my phone, so the quality of the picture might be a bit grainy and sometimes the light changes, but just ignore all that. Take in the information so that you can get a really amazing result transforming your melamine just like I did. So the first step obviously is to clear the shelves, take everything off, the books, the ornaments, all of the knickknacks. And you might be tempted to clean the shelves here, but I wouldn't, because you're going to make a mess when you do the next step, which is the sanding. So for the sanding, it's really important that you wear your protective gear. Get yourself a mask, some goggles, and sensible footwear, especially if you're going to be going up a ladder. If you want a complete list of all the equipment, then like I said, just do go back to video 1. And what you're going to do is sand the unit completely. So I used 120 grit sandpaper with an electric sander. And if you don't have an electric sander, then just use sandpaper just wrapped around a block of wood. It's just, you just need a bit more elbow grease. And mind, all you're doing here is scoring. You're like scratching the surface in preparation for the secret step. So then this is the point where you can wash down the unit with some hot soapy water. Don't drench it, just going to clean up all the dust, and you can give it a little bit of an extra clean. So this is the secret step. Using your brush and a roller, you're going to apply the primer. Primer is essential because this is what the paint will stick to. This is what prepares the melamine surface. I use this Classitor Universal Extreme Epoxy Primer. You can see in video 1 for details where I got that. And then apply the primer using your brush for the corners and your roller, just to roll it on. And I used 1 coat of primer, and then when that's dry, apply the undercoat again with your brush and your roller. And I find the roller just gives a nice even coat of paint, because sometimes the brush can leave brush marks. When the undercoat is dry, I used for this project 1 coat of undercoat. Just apply your top coat, and once that's finished, you are ready for the fun bit. So you're going to see the next shot is my unit is prepared, but it's a different colour because I don't have a shot of it painted with the top coat, but you get the idea. You paint the whole unit and then get to the fun bit. So what you're going to need is your equipment for cutting the paper and sticking it to the shelves, and then mix up your wallpaper paste in your bowl according to the manufacturer's instructions, and also according to how big the project is and how much wallpaper you're going to be using. So I mixed way too much, but when you're mixing it, take care, because you can get lumps really quickly. So when you add the mix to the water, you have to stir very vigorously, stir it very quickly. But if you do get any lumps, just fish them out and throw them away. You don't want them behind your wallpaper. They'll be difficult to get out. So cover the floor and the unit with a dust sheet. And here I am. This is my unit. It's all primed, it's undercoated, it's top coated, it's dry, it's clean, and it's ready for paper. So using a tape measure or a ruler, measure the height and the width of the space that you're going to cover. And then using those measurements, you're going to cut your paper accordingly on the cutting board. I used a set square. You can use a ruler to cut up your paper. So for me, each section needed 3 separate pieces of wallpaper. And if you've got a repeating pattern like mine, then you'll have to find where the pattern joins together, where the repeat is, and cut accordingly. So I put a mark on each piece of wallpaper to group them together so I know which shelf they're going on and where they go. And then we're going to do the fun bit. So start papering. Apply the wallpaper paste to the back of the unit. Remember, it's paste the wall. And then stick your pieces of paper down according to where they go. Line up your repeats, if you've got any, to create one beautiful image. And then you're going to use the tools you have to smooth out any air bubbles. That you can do that with the brush. Use the roller when you put the edges together, that cute little roller, use that roller to flatten down the edges where the pieces of wallpaper join together. And then you can also use your craft knife and the palette knife to cut off any excess paper. So it can be a bit tricky. You do need a lot of patience, but it's so worth it. And then you're going to allow the whole thing to dry for 24 hours and then apply the varnish. The paper needs a different varnish to the paint. So I use the Creative Deco matte varnish and the Ronseal matte varnish because I don't want a sheen. And then this is my finished bookcase, which is painted in the same colour as my walls. So instead of it sticking out now, it blends into the room really, really beautifully. You can see that I used the gold edging. And then in video number 3, I'm going to show you how I styled the shelves.